All right, what's up, YouTube? We're live. Perfect. We're live everywhere. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's my birthday, my 30th birthday. We got people here on YouTube joining live stream, people on Periscope. We got people here on Facebook Live as well. Thank you guys for joining. I'm excited to have a chance to speak. If there's any problems with the connection or audio or video, then try Periscope, try YouTube, Project Life Mastery, or you can try Facebook Live. If you guys are on YouTube right now, you guys can see in the description I have a bunch of links. So I've got links to my Twitter. I've also got links to the Facebook Live page as well. This is an opportunity for you guys to ask any questions that you guys have of me. So I'm going to dedicate the next hour or so just to spend this time answering questions, adding value to you guys, spending a chunk of my birthday with you guys. My followers, subscribers, friends, and family. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys have helped make my life what it is today, and I feel so blessed and grateful for the last few years now, and just being able to share this journey with you guys through Project Life Mastery and on YouTube and social media as well. So a few things before we get started. Number one, this is being recorded on YouTube. So the recording of this will be available on YouTube, and the same thing goes with Facebook Live as well as with Periscope. If you're watching on Periscope, this stream will end within about 24 hours if you guys want to rewatch it again. But it'll be up on my YouTube channel, so you guys can rewatch again and again. If you guys have questions for me, which is what I want to dedicate this time to, you guys can submit your questions on Twitter. Twitter is the best way for me to see your questions. I can see a bunch here on Facebook Live. Periscope is tough because your questions disappear, but the best way is on Twitter. So if you guys are following me on Twitter, make sure that you do that right now. Follow me on Twitter. Just search for Project Life Mastery on Twitter, okay? And use the hashtag #AskStefan, okay? Basically, I put the hashtag in the title of each of these videos. Use that hashtag. That's the best way to submit your question to me, because I'm going to be looking here on Twitter and be able to see all the questions that you guys are asking, and I'm going to hammer through each of them, do the best that I can to help you guys out and answer as many questions as possible. And using Twitter is the best way of doing it. If you guys are on YouTube, you can submit, I think there's a chat, but it's a little bit tough to manage all areas at once, and so that's why Twitter is the best place. All right, so make sure that you tweet me, find Project Life Mastery, do that right now. Submit your question, keep it to 140 characters. That's a limit with Twitter. Submit your question, and I'll make sure to answer it live on this session. Or if you're on Facebook Live video, I can answer your questions there as well, okay? Awesome, we got a lot of people joining. And if you guys can share this in any way, share it with your friends on Facebook, share it on Twitter, on social media, whatever, awesome. Really excited and looking forward to your questions. All right, so let's jump into a few that I've got here. I have some questions from last time around because I did this about a week or two ago, and I had some great questions I never got a chance to answer. So one question is from my friend Jamie. Jamie was one of my coaching clients a year or so, maybe 2 years ago. Awesome guy. So what's up, Jamie? It's good to hear from you. His question is blending better than juicing because of the fiber? Okay, so I love both. I think there's a lot of benefits to both blending and juicing. There's pros and cons to each though. Blending is great because you can put in fruit and vegetables and everything, and there's fiber. The benefit of fiber is that it helps your digestion, helps with your bowel movements, all that sort of stuff. The downside of blending though is that you're only getting so much nutrition, because when you throw in like a handful of spinach, you throw in some fruit and vegetables and whatnot, there's only so much that you can blend together because there's so much fiber involved. So you're getting a lot of great nutrition that has fiber in it, but you're limited to how much nutrition that you're getting. Juicing, on the other hand, the reason why I love juicing is because you can take a mass amount of vegetables and put a mass amount of vegetables into a juicer. You're getting a glass full. And because it's removing all the fiber, it's more concentrated. There's much more nutrition involved in that. And when you drink it, because your body doesn't have to digest it, it just goes right into the bloodstream. You have an immediate sense of energy. You're getting tons of nutrition because, if you were to blend together, a huge pile of vegetables, you just wouldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't be able to fit everything into a blender. So you get way more nutrition by juicing. But the downside, again, is that there's no fiber. So I like to utilize both. I do juicing first thing in the morning, and then I have smoothies throughout the day. The benefit of doing juicing first thing in the morning is that all throughout the night, and when you wake up, your body's detoxing. It's cleansing itself. And what happens is the moment that you start eating food or having fiber, your body turns off that cleansing process, and it starts focusing on digestion. And so when you juice and drink, and just drink a glass of juice without the fiber, your body can still focus on that cleansing process without having to focus its energy on digesting food. Whenever you digest, your body has to expend energy. Oftentimes, digestion requires energy and actually is using up a lot of your energy, which can make you feel more fatigued. Even if you had like a massive smoothie, you're still probably going to be tired and bloated as well. And that's one of the downsides of eating a lot of vegetables, a lot of raw food with fiber in it, is that your body can have a hard time digesting all that fiber, and you end up being bloated a little bit as well. So I like to do both. There's pros and cons to each. Awesome. If you guys are joining, by the way, and you have questions, again, tweet them to me, send them to me on Twitter. Make sure you're following Project Life Mastery on Twitter. Use the hashtag #AskStefan. Okay, #AskStefan. It's the hashtag that I put in these videos. That's the best way for me to see your questions, and I'll answer them live right now in the session. Okay, here's a question from JK Publishing on Twitter. Happy birthday. I have a question on focusing your time. There are several resources to make money. How do you decide where to focus yours, focus your time, I guess? You're right. There's so many different opportunities. There's so many different resources for building a business, making money online, etc. Really, you have to pick one and focus on it. You have to pick one primary business model and focus on it for the long term. There's always going to be a million opportunities. There's always a million opportunities and things that are trying to grab your attention. And marketers, which I am, and a lot of people are online, they're really good at captivating attention and promoting and marketing services and a lot of different things. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. For the most part, people are providing a lot of amazing opportunities that can help you improve your life, change your life for the better, change your financial situation. But you really have to pick one primary business, maybe two, or something that could be related to that one, and then focus in on it, and then learn to say no and cut off all the other distractions. The other opportunities will be there. They'll be available. I get opportunities all the time. I get people message me on Facebook and emailing me and saying, hey, I've got this amazing opportunity for you, Stefan. Do you want to partner with me on this? Or, we could do this together, or they have a lot of great ideas. And these are all great opportunities that, if I were to take action on them, could probably make me a lot of money, could probably, do a lot of good. But the problem is that if I just said yes to all these opportunities, I wouldn't actually ever get anything done because I'd be so distracted. So I've learned that I commit to my goals a year in advance, right? At the beginning of the year, I commit to all my goals for the year. This is what I'm committed to. This is what I'm going to focus on. I publicly share that on YouTube, my blog, and with everyone. Whatever I commit to, that's what I'm doing, okay? I don't care whatever else comes up. That's what I'm focusing on. I'm going to say no to everything else because I want to make sure that I complete and finish what I committed to, okay? Now, again, I might be missing out on opportunities, but that's okay. I want to follow through on my commitments. I want to achieve my goals, and sure enough, ended up having a lot of great success with that. You got to make sure that you don't get caught up in the shiny object syndrome, where basically, you're just jumping from one thing to the next and you don't get anything done. Building a successful business or making money or achieving any goal, it requires you to focus on the depth of things, okay? Going deep. That's what mastery is about. It's going deep and committing fully to that one area and deciding that you're going to do whatever it takes to master it. A lot of people, what they do is they're dabblers. They just jump from one thing to the next. They're not seeing results fast enough, so they're doing something else. you know, people that go on a diet or something like that, they do it for 2 weeks or for 30 days. They're not seeing the result they want, so they move on to the next diet. And sure enough, they never get the result because they don't understand that it's a process. You have to be patient and commit to that one process for a long period of time before you can expect the results that you're really after. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but basically I just decide this is what I'm going to focus on. Just to give you guys an example right now, many of you guys know I'm focused on creating my affiliate marketing mastery program, and I've been focused on that for the last month. That's my first, second, third, fourth, and fifth priority right now. Okay, anything else is not even close to that, and I focus every day. Even today on my birthday, I'm focusing on that. If you guys are following me on Snapchat, you'll also see that's what I'm focusing on every day. There's many other things that I should be doing. There's many other goals that I have, but I recognize that I can't do them all right now. I'm just going to focus on this one big project until it's completed, immerse myself in it, and then once that's done, then I'm going to work on the next project. So that's what I do. Also, if you guys want to see a little bit more about my daily life, then make sure that you're following me on Snapchat. My username is StefanJames1. Okay, StefanJames1, and like I've been using it for 2 days now, but I've been like snapping like crazy all throughout the day. I'm snapping, you know, my morning ritual, going to the gym, you know, what I'm working on, what I'm doing, and you guys can follow along and get an idea of how I'm spending my day and how I'm managing my time. All right, let's go to a Facebook Live question right now. We got a few different streams going on. Again, if you guys are joining, you have questions, you guys can tweet them to me. Tweet Project Life Mastery on Twitter, and make sure you include the hashtag #AskStefan. Using the hashtag is the only way that I'm able to see your question, because it's challenging to see. Or if you're on Facebook live stream right now, you guys can ask your questions there. Okay, here's a question from Davin Saunders. Hey, Stefan, what should you do in order to find your passion? Also, happy birthday. Awesome, thank you. I actually did a great video blog on this, on finding your passion, and I think, and it's on the YouTube channel, but I believe that, you know, especially if you're young, you should be trying many different things. Finding your passion is a process, and what you're passionate about today might be different as the years go on, and that's okay. I think a lot of people are looking for that definitive, set in stone thing, that's their mission in life, that's their passion. And for me, it hasn't really been that way. For me, when I was 17 years old and I was in high school and everything, you know, you're kind of at that stage, you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with your life. And I knew that I was good at computers. I was a computer nerd. I spent all this time in front of the computers. I was good at typing. And, you know, I wanted to actually be an architect at that age because I got really good grades in the drafting classes and architecture, and I was good at it. And so that was actually the career that I was thinking about pursuing at the time. But then when I got into self-development, the biggest challenge that I had was my social skills. I was very shy, I was very introverted, I didn't have any confidence whatsoever. And I thought to myself, do I want to have a career where I'm just going to be, you know, behind the computer all day? And so that's why I decided, you know what, even though that's what I'm good at, I want to actually have a career that's going to force me to maximize my potential as a human being and force me to grow and to be more of a social person. And so at that age, I was really focused on improving my social life, my social skills. And I remember at one point I wanted to be like a club promoter because I was going to a lot of clubs and stuff when I was like 19, 20 years old. And, you know, I thought, hey, you know what, if I promote parties and clubs and events and all that stuff, I'd learn a lot in the process and I develop a lot of great skills. And I did that for a bit, and again, it wasn't really my passion, but I just tried different things. And then eventually I ended up becoming a coach because I loved helping people, I loved improving myself, I love self-development, and so I did that for a while. But then after that, I kind of evolved, and my passions evolved into business. You know, I ended up starting my own business at a young age, and I really enjoyed that. The internet, this amazing opportunity that the internet's provided, and eventually sharing and teaching and helping people in those areas. And so this is my passion right now, but who knows what it's going to be in 5 or 10 years. It always evolves. It always changes. You know, maybe I'm going to get bored of one thing or another. You know, I've done Kindle publishing for years, but now for me, I'm not as passionate about Kindle publishing. So I'm creating a new course right now, affiliate marketing. I'm passionate about that. might be passionate about that for a while, and then maybe after that I'll want to look for something else that might challenge me or excite me. So the bottom line is, I think in order to find your passion, you have to try different things. You have to experiment and understand it's a process. Don't rush it. Don't think that, oh my God, I need to like have my passion and stuff right now because all my other friends are getting careers and whatnot. Don't rush it. It's something that comes, and the best advice I can give is just try a lot of different things, and don't be afraid to decide and commit to things as well. A lot of people are afraid to commit. But if you just decide and commit, okay, this is what I want to do, I'm going to do this, and understand that it can evolve as time goes on as well. Awesome. Okay, next question that we have here on Twitter. Again, tweet me your questions, hashtag Ask Stefan. Okay, here's from Idris on Twitter. Happy birthday, my take. Is in your goal setting process, how do you decide on the deadline while being sure that it's realistic? Well, for me, for the most part, when I set my goals for the entire year. So my deadline is by December 31st. So when I'm setting my goal setting process, I'm picking goals that I have certainty and belief that if I were to focus and I were to work hard and everything, that that's a realistic time frame for me to achieve everything. I guess part of what you learn as time goes on and as you set goals and achieve them is you learn what is a realistic time frame for you. The only way that you really learn is by failing. I have goals that I've set in the past that I didn't achieve, but because I assessed those goals and I looked them over and I just, looked at, okay, why didn't I achieve those goals? One of the reasons would be probably it wasn't a realistic time frame. So you got to learn from your failures and learn from your previous goals, and then make the necessary adjustments so that, the goals that you're setting are realistic and are achievable for you. Excuse me. So, I guess for me now, it's just I've gotten better at goal setting. I've gotten better at selecting goals that what I want. I have a better idea of how long it takes. Like I'm creating right now Affiliate Marketing Mastery. I know from my past experience what's involved in achieving a goal like that. I know it's going to take me at least 3 months of just pure focus, dedication, immersion, and everything to complete that. So I think you just learn as time goes on and adapt. If you don't achieve your goal by your time frame, like you should be checking in on your goal on the way, on the process of achieving that goal. So if you identify that, hey, you know what, I'm a few weeks in, but I'm not making progress and the deadline's coming up, then you can extend the deadline or you have to take different actions in order to achieve it. Here's a question from Maximilian Lehman on Twitter. Hi, Stefan, thanks a lot. I would like to know how important you think it is to make decisions based on your gut. That's a really good question. I think you should make decisions based on multiple factors, your gut being one of them, also using your logic and how the decision aligns with your values and your mission, which is very important as well, your beliefs, your values, and your mission. So there's, I guess, a few different factors that you would base your decisions on. For me, when I make certain decisions, they're always purely based on my values first and foremost. They have to be aligned with my values, my goals, my mission, what's important to me, contributing, adding value, empowering myself, my life, inspiring other people. So I look to see, okay, is this in alignment with all of that? Is that in alignment with my purpose? But also your gut plays an important role, because that gut is almost like the intuition within yourself that, you have to make sure it feels right. And, if something for me doesn't feel right, and you got to get good at really identifying that and really looking at your soul and identifying, okay, does this feel right? Is this something that's really going to empower me and benefit my life and other people as well? You have to pay attention to that. And that doesn't mean that if you feel like scared or nervous or uncomfortable that you shouldn't do it. You have to be able to notice the difference between fear and just maybe in your gut, it's just not feeling like the right thing for you. So, that comes with time as well. And I think that is definitely important. And, I've had opportunities in the past with different like partnerships or business deals, and it might have looked good on paper, but, deep down in my gut, it just didn't feel right. There was still a part of me that just didn't feel that it was the right thing for me. And so I backed out, just based on my gut. So you have to be able to make decisions on your gut, but I think also a whole spectrum of different factors as well. All right, and for those who are joining again, tweet your questions to me, Ask Stefan hashtag on Twitter. Question from Adnan is, what's it like to be a millionaire? Really, it's this exact same as making $100,000 a year or anything else. I think a lot of people think that becoming a millionaire or making a lot of money, that it's really going to change your life. It's going to make you happy or more fulfilled or whatever it is, and it's really not the case. It's maybe a little bit of a different identity that you have for yourself now. And also, it makes you feel like proud of yourself that you accomplished something and there's a goal that you had. But really, the quality of your life doesn't change that much. I think that the quality of your life is based on your emotional well-being. That's one thing I learned from Tony Robbins. You can have all this money but still be miserable and depressed. You can also be broke and poor financially, but rich and wealthy emotionally and spiritually, just by cultivating your emotions. So for me, my life hasn't changed too much in that sense. Being a millionaire just basically means that you probably just have a lot of money in the bank. It's not like my lifestyle has significantly changed that much. Most of the money that I make, I just save it and invest it in different stocks and everything like that. So it's not like I'm out there buying like Lamborghinis or spending and wasting money on things. I think that's a bit of a fallacy and a misconception of it. So I think with one person that has more money, one person's a millionaire, it doesn't really make anyone better or different than anyone else. We're all the same. I've just worked at this. Maybe I've got more of a head start than you guys, really, and it has given different choices and opportunities for me. But overall, it hasn't really affected my overall happiness and fulfillment in any way. I still wake up, I still do my morning ritual, I still do a lot of the same things that I did 10 years ago. The only difference is I just have more money in the bank account. So while it's a cool feeling in the sense of identity and what I've accomplished, and the amount of value that I've given, because really that's what money and wealth represents for me, is that making a lot of money means that you've added massive value to other people's lives. Really, that's the main meaning and the main thing that I get from it. Awesome. So if you guys are on Facebook Live, I can see your comments and questions here too. So if you guys want to ask a question on Facebook live stream, I can answer it. For you guys on Periscope, guys, the only challenge with Periscope is that your questions disappear. And so that's why it's better to tweet them to me, guys. Send me a tweet at Project Life Mastery using hashtag #AskStefan, and I'll be able to see your questions. And same thing with you guys on YouTube. There might be a YouTube chat going on right now. I'm not sure, but it's really tough to see all the different locations right now. All right, got a few more here on Twitter. David Humphrey has a question. What's the worst purchase you've made? Mine was a $100 planner that I never used. I wish I had that $100 back. I don't think I've ever made a bad purchase, and the reason is not because it wasn't a bad purchase, it's because I never associate a meaning to something that it was a bad purchase. Whether something is good or bad is all the meaning that you've created. I've spent money on things, and maybe bought products, whatever, and they're broken. I've invested in coaching and training and stuff and never got my money back, and it was a scam. I never viewed that as a bad purchase though, because I think that those purchases actually were my greatest purchases because I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from those experiences, which have helped me today. So, I'd venture to say, that $100 planner that you never used changed the meaning that you're associating to it. Maybe that's actually a good thing, because by making that purchase, you learned to make better decisions about certain things you invest your money in to ensure that it actually is going to be something that you actually utilize in your life. So I don't view anything as a bad purchase. I think that you can learn from all those. Everything has a positive meaning to it, and you have to find what that meaning is, what that lesson is, and just look at it instead of a bad purchase, that it was a really valuable lesson. You spent $100 to learn a very valuable lesson. And it's much better to learn those lessons early in life, when those purchases aren't significant amount of money, because maybe one day when you're a multi-millionaire, the lessons that you learn now are going to help save you millions of dollars down the road. So that's the way that I always think about it. Question from JK Publishing. When you first started putting yourself out there, creating a personal brand, Facebook, videos, etc., how did you put the anxiety aside? That's a good question. I think the main thing is I didn't focus on myself. I was focused on doing everything to add value, to inspire people. And, you know, I think when you're focused on yourself, that's when you have the fear and anxiety. And I think I maybe had more anxiety or fear about not helping people, not creating a brand, not being successful. I think that's what scared me even more and created more anxiety for me. But I think it's just getting outside of yourself. Oftentimes people, they focus so much on themselves and how they look and how they sound and what other people are going to think of them. But again, it's just all about you. Get outside yourself. Focus on serving, focusing on adding value, focus on helping people. You know, that's purely when I done public speaking, the entire focus is what's my outcome and how can I add as much value as possible. The questions that I ask myself before creating videos, before speaking, is how can I serve? Why do I care about these people? Why is what I'm sharing important? Why is it an absolute must for me to communicate my message with absolute passion to influence other people? I'm not thinking about me. I'm not thinking about, you know, what other people are going to think of me. I focus on communicating with passion and making what I'm sharing very important and making my products, services, everything important to add value as well. So that's where my focus goes. And if you focus on yourself, if you focus on what other people are going to think, you're going to have anxiety because whatever you focus on, you feel. So focus on what you want, focus on your outcome. Don't focus on other people, the external factors and all that sort of stuff. Don't focus on the failure. Focus on what you want. Awesome, we got a share here, cool. And again, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure to share it on Twitter or Facebook. Really appreciate it, guys. Make sure to double tap or like the video here. And there's a few Periscope ones. Guys, if you want to submit your questions again, tweet them to me is the best way to do it. I've got a stream going on right now on Facebook Live and also on Project Life Mastery YouTube channel. So if you guys have your questions, again, tweet them, send them to the Project Life Mastery Twitter, use hashtag #AskStefan. I've never done 3 streams like this before, so it's a new experience for me. It makes me a little bit, got to focus more, a little bit distracted. Okay, here's a question from Viva La Dots. Hi, Stefan, this is my first tweet. Weird question. How do you increase confidence when you live with people who make you feel insecure? Okay, that's a good question. I think there's a few tips I can give. One is if you're in an environment that's not empowering you and the people are negative and putting you down, making you feel insecure, that's not the right environment. Now, I understand if you're young, you got to live with your parents, you got to live with people and stuff. Certain circumstances like that, and you know, it can be challenging. And I think in that circumstance, you have to recognize, okay, I'm in an environment that's not empowering. I would recommend to limit your time with people that are negative and disempowering, because you know, one thing I learned from Jim Rohn is that you have to stand guard at the door of your mind, because one little negative imprint, one little negative comment can affect your psychology, your belief system, and who you are, and can show up later in your life and really cause a lot of harm. So you have to be very protective of that. For me personally, I avoid spending time with people, even if they're family members, that are negative and not going to support me in any way. I'll still love them, but I'll love them from a distance. I'll still, you know, spend time with them here and there, but I'll limit my time. I know for myself, I grew up in a family where my dad wasn't the most positive person, but I just limited my time with him. I didn't spend much time hanging out with him and stuff. I spent most of that time in my room, improving myself, doing certain things to condition and feed my mind, that all the things that will help improve my confidence. So I would say that's one thing. Also, you have to learn to not depend your emotional well-being, your confidence, and who you are based on anything else besides yourself. You can't let the weather affect you. You can't let the economy affect you. You can't let negative things that are outside of your control influence you. You have to understand that you are in control of how you feel. It's all about the meaning that you associate to things in your life, because nothing in life has any meaning except for the meaning that you give it. So make sure that you are protective of your psychology. You're feeding your brain with positive information. You're conditioning yourself every day with the morning ritual. You're putting yourself in a peak state of confidence, and you're not being affected by any outside forces. And understand that you're in control. You can change how you feel in an instant just by changing what you focus on, just by changing the way that you're using your body. And just work hard on yourself than anything else. Work hard, make it a part of your morning ritual, and condition yourself to be that confident person that you want to be. Here's a question from Elliot Hulse Jr. Awesome, man. I think you're on the last one as well, so good to see you again. How do you plan a monthly budget? How do you prioritize? And how do you determine to buy something flashy? Okay, how do you plan a monthly budget? I think that budget is going to be based on being aware of your current finances and spending. So you got to be tracking all your income and expenses every month. I used to have a ritual of tracking every week, every Tuesday. I'd pay for everything on my credit cards and debit cards, and I would be able to basically go into all my online banking, see exactly this is what my expenses were, categorize everything to entertainment, to meals, to groceries, to your car payments, your rent, have all those different categories. Same thing, track all your income. This is the income I make from my online business. Here's the income I make from my job. Here's maybe additional miscellaneous income I might make from like a garage sale or something like that. Track everything, okay? You've got to make sure that you are making more than what you're spending. Your expenses cannot be higher than what your income is. You need to have, at least 20, 30, 40% or more additional cash flow that you have beyond your expenses, because you need money to save, to invest in yourself, your own education. You need money for that. And if you're spending too much, then you got to create a budget. Maybe you're living a lifestyle that you can't really afford. Maybe you got to go back to live with your parents. Maybe you got to get a roommate. Maybe you got to sell your car and take the bus for many years like I did. Making sacrifices, that's part of it, because if you can have some extra money to invest in yourself or your business, that's what's going to allow you to get further ahead. Now, once you are tracking everything and you know exactly, okay, this is how much money that I want to be able to save and put aside to invest every month, and here's my expenses, that's where you create the budget from that. So you look at, okay, this is what I'm spending every month on entertainment, my meals, my rent. I need to get this down to, from $400 a month to $300 a month. I need to, get rid of some of these features that I don't need on my cell phone. And I got to, go from a $80 a month cell phone plan to a $50 a month cell phone plan, right? So it's basically finding ways to stay within the budgets that you set for yourself, to make sure that you're having enough money at the end of the month that you can, again, invest in yourself, your business, or different things that actually matter. Doing that budgeting is key, but also thinking about how you can earn more money, how you can add more value, maybe starting an online business, starting something on the side. I think that's almost just as important as budgeting, if not more, because that's what's going to create more abundance for you in your life. How do I prioritize? I do the 80-20 principle. I have a list of actions. I look at my outcome, and based on my outcome and my actions that I have, I just ask myself, what are the 3 most important actions that are going to help me achieve that outcome? So there's always, out of a whole list of to-dos or actions you have, 20% of the actions are going to produce 80% of the results. So you just got to be able to look at it and decide, okay, these are the most important things. Everything else is secondary, or it's much lower priority. So, and then just do those things, do those high leverage, most important things first thing in the morning, so that you get them done. And then other things like email, social media, all those other things, those things go more at the end of the day. How do you determine to buy something flashy? I'm not totally sure. It depends what, I think you're thinking like flashy things, like maybe watches or something like that. I don't really buy a lot of flashy things. I more so buy things that I need. If I do buy something that's a little bit flashy, it's just money that I might have that is just purely for fun or enjoyment, and I make sure that I've invested wisely, and that it's more of a reward for myself, if anything, for a lot of hard work or certain goals or outcomes that I achieved. Cool. For you guys that are joining me again, that are just joining on this live stream right now on Facebook, YouTube, or Periscope, you guys can submit your questions to me on Twitter. Make sure that you tweet me using hashtag AskStefan. Very important. Make sure you spell my name correctly as well. Ask Stefan is the title of all these streams. Submit your questions there to me, and I'll be able to see them and answer them on this stream. Okay, here's a question from Joel on Twitter. Blessings and happy birthday. What would you suggest as your top 3 personal development techniques to become your best self? Great question. I think first and foremost is learning and improving yourself nonstop every single day. That has to be, I mean, that's just a given. You know, if you want to grow in your life, if you want to be your best self, you have to be learning. You have to spend every day feeding your mind, conditioning yourself, conditioning that. Also taking massive action. And I think actually going back to learning, you know, learning, there's many different ways of learning, right? There's learning from books, there's learning from YouTube videos, there's learning from courses and mentors and seminars. I think you have to do all of that. I'm a big fan of immersive learning. That's where I typically learn the most. When I go to a seminar, like for example, in August, I'm going to Business Mastery at Tony Robbins. It's a $10,000 seminar that I paid for and we'll be going to. It's a 5-day event, you know, in Las Vegas. I'm immerse myself for 5 days to focus on growing my business. I get more from a seminar than I ever will from reading a book, right? Because in the seminar, in the environment, your pure focus is on what you're learning and actually applying and implementing what you're learning as well, going through all the different exercises. So you're in a supportive environment that can help you learn and maximize that. Same thing, I think, with seminars is having mentors and coaches. That's one of the ultimate ways of learning as well, because you're getting personalized advice and coaching for something. Someone that's guiding you and holding you accountable and holding your hand and pushing you to grow more in your life. For me, reading and YouTube, things like that, that's not the most efficient way for learning for myself, because I more so read for like inspiration, motivation, and just to feed my mind with positivity, but rarely do, you know, a lot of things I read have very actionable stuff for me to apply just then and there. But I think they're great nonetheless. I think learning is key. Taking action and implementing what you're learning is even more important. I think a lot of people get caught up in spending all their time learning, and they understand that you got to be taking more action than the time that you're spending learning. For every hour that you're spending learning, you should be spending 3 or 4 hours of that time taking massive action to apply what you're learning. I go through phases. You know, I go through maybe an event or a seminar, but then I'm in massive action mode for the next few months, applying everything that I might have learned from that seminar or from that coach or from that program that I went through. So making sure that you're taking action, so important. And as you guys know as well, the third thing, I preach this all the time, this has been one of the most important things that's helped me create the life that I have today, is a morning ritual. A morning ritual is a practical way to apply and implement all the things that you've learned that will help you create the life that you want. Spending that time first thing in the morning to take care of your body, your mind, and your spirit. And I've got a whole program that's focused on this called Morning Ritual Mastery. You guys can check it out at morningritualmastery.com. One of the best programs that I've created, changed. We've had, I think, almost 1,000 people that have been through it, changed a lot of people's lives. Really amazing program that basically teaches you how to create an empowering morning ritual, but more than that, actually stick with it, actually commit to it over the long term. There's a 30-day morning ritual challenge as part of it as well. But doing something like that, for me, that's been one of the most important things, because what changes your life is not something that you just do one time. It's what you do every single day. It's what you condition yourself to do. It's the rituals that you have in your life that add up, all those small things that you do every single day that improve you just 0.001%. You know, all those little things that you do, they add up over several years and help change your mindset, your psychology, your confidence, and the results of your life. So morning ritual is one of the most important things as well. Question here from Maximilian Lehman. Would you consider yourself as a solopreneur, or do you have a team? I definitely have a team. I think everybody needs a team if you want to be successful, because you have to learn to leverage your time. Time is the most important thing. And in any business, there's a lot of things to be doing, and you need to free yourself up from a lot of that time that you spend doing all those mundane, boring, repetitive things, and you need to be able to focus on what you're great at. You gotta be able to focus on the things that give you fulfillment, that you enjoy as well. So I think solopreneur is just, I don't believe in that. I think that having a team is vitally important, whether that's having virtual assistants or people that can help assist you in your business. But for me, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, everything you guys see, if I was doing it as a solopreneur. I have a video editor. You know, that's one thing. If you're creating videos, you shouldn't be editing the videos yourself. You know, the time that you're spending editing videos, you could be creating more videos. You could easily outsource that to someone to edit the videos for you. So I pay someone to edit all of my videos so that I can free up my time to focus on creating more content. I pay a virtual assistant to promote my videos, promote my content. I pay someone to go through my blog posts and transcribe all the videos and be able to provide that for people as well. I have an audio engineer that takes the video and then edits it and then adds it to my iTunes podcast. You know, I've got a whole team of people that help me do what I do. Every video, every piece of content that I create costs me money and time to create for you guys. And I'm not sure if you guys realize that or not, but I'm running a business. The money that I make, I reinvest into my business so that I can create more, so I can provide more value, create more free content, and help more people. So definitely having a team, it allows me to focus on doing things like this, creating content, engaging with people, you know, being on social media. You know, oftentimes you see these people that, you know, they're just on, these entrepreneurs, they're just on social media all day and creating content. Well, the only way they're able to do that is because they have a team that's doing everything else for them in their business, and they can just spend all their time creating content and posting on Snapchat and Periscope and all this stuff all day, right? So you need a team to leverage yourself to focus on what are the highest leverage, most important things that only you can do, that you're the best at, and that you also enjoy as well. Okay, here's a question from Angel Marini. How much do you pay your video transcript VA, video to blog text? Thank you, Stefan. I love your work. So we actually use a service called rev.com, rev.com, and the transcription is based on how long the piece of content is. So I think it's like if a video is 22 minutes, it'll cost $22 for them to transcribe it. And some videos that I have that are like an hour long might cost over $100 to transcribe. So my VA, he basically transcribes the videos for me with Rev, and then we basically edit it, because transcriptions are never always accurate, and the grammar, the spelling are going to be a little bit off. So we also proofread it and put together the blog posts and publish it, and also optimize it for SEO. Okay, here's a question from the Innovestor. How do you budget business expenditures? How do you weigh the options of spending versus building a new facet of your business organically? Well, I'm in a very unique situation with my business, to be honest with you, because my business actually has relatively low expenses and has very high profit margins, because I sell digital products. Digital products, there's no cost to manufacture something and also ship it and deliver it. Everything is digital online. And so, but one key thing I have good profit margins in all the businesses that I have, but one key thing is that tracking everything. So I have a bookkeeper that tracks everything, and we just basically make sure that the most important thing is that you're making a profit in the business, or at least breaking even at minimum. And so for us, you know, I've been investing a lot back in my business to build a team and also more on marketing. But I'm more of a fan of building a business that has high profit margins, and also, you know, a business that's not dependent on a lot of paid advertising as well. I think paid advertising is good, like Facebook ads, Google ads, etc. But primarily, I like to build free sources of traffic that are more organic and long-term, such as YouTube, you know, SEO, and all social media as well. So those are the top 3 sources of traffic that I focus on, because it's more of an upfront investment for those things, but eventually, once you build your authority on YouTube or a blog, you're on social media, then you end up benefiting from a lot of free traction because you have so much authority on those websites. So we just track everything. I've got a bookkeeper, tracks everything. I just make sure that I have a certain budget of what we want to spend in the business that doesn't exceed that. And then that budget is basically a certain amount of money that we focus and dedicate to marketing, to investing in a team. But again, I want to make sure that I have enough profit and cash because there are certain projects or things that come up throughout the year that I want to make sure that I have the cash flow to be able to invest in. If I want to hire a new person on my team or spend $20,000 on this advertising campaign or something like that, I want to make sure that I have the money available for that. So we only have, I think, a few more questions left. And again, if you guys are here, I'll take a few more questions. Make sure you submit them to me on Twitter. Tweet Project Life Mastery using the hashtag AskStefan. Okay, very important. I'm not able to see a lot of comments on YouTube or on Periscope, so make sure that you tweet them to Project Life Mastery using hashtag AskStefan. That's how I'm able to see and answer your guys' questions. Here's a question from Ruben de Nornha. How do you stay positive when others around you are negative? And then also, how do you bounce back from failure? Well, I already kind of shared my answer based on the other question on confidence. I think, first of all, is you've got to get out of an environment when people are negative. You got to get out of that. You can't be in an environment like that. It's just, you're in an environment that's not, it's always going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be a challenge for you being in that environment. And I think, you can focus on being positive all day long, but if you're in that environment, you are human. There are certain things that people might say and you might hear that might implant a negative belief or something like that in your head, which can affect you. So getting out of that environment is key. I don't believe, if you have friends and family, they should support you. They should support what you're doing. They should be your cheerleaders. They should be your biggest fans. You need people like that in your life if you want to succeed. But also you have to understand that you got to feed your mind with positivity. You got to make sure you're reading, you're investing in yourself, you're doing a morning ritual, and you're conditioning yourself. And again, I already talked about that a little bit earlier on in this video. And how do you bounce back from failure? It's pretty simple. You just focus on the next thing. And you learn from it. I don't believe that anything is really failure because there's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. It's the lessons that you learn from failure that actually help you create success in your life. Failure is part of the process. I always expect failure. Any new business, anything that I'm doing, I know that I'm going to fail. I just know that's part of the process. I don't try to pretend that I'm not going to fail. I just know that I will. So I just expect it going into anything. I expect that if I commit to doing something every day, I'm probably not going to do it every day. I know that I'll probably get off track a little bit here and there, but the most important thing is to learn from that and then just get right back on track and keep moving forward. So I think that's really the most important thing that you can do is just make sure that you're learning from your failures and understand that failure is your asset. It's something that can help benefit you and put you on the right path, the right direction, and helps show you what not to do as well. And it makes you stronger, makes you more resilient. So for me, my failures have actually been the biggest gifts in my life because they've helped me get to where I am today. Okay, here's a question from Dino on Twitter. Happy birthday. Question, how long did it take you to grow your YouTube channel to 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, and 10,000 subscribers? Honestly, I have no idea. And to be honest with you, I didn't really focus on it. I didn't really focus on subscribers. I just focused on creating content. That's where your focus should be. It shouldn't be, too much on worrying too much about subscribers. Just focus on adding value, focus on creating high quality content and helping as many people as possible. And if your content's good, if what you're sharing is useful for people and people receive value from it, they will subscribe. They'll subscribe to you, they'll share, they'll keep coming back for more. They'll be your biggest fans and supporters, and you won't have to really worry too much about marketing and gaining more subscribers. So for me, that's where most of my focus is. I have no idea how long, honestly, it took me. I do know at the beginning stages, it did take several months for things to really take off. I was putting out, I think, YouTube videos every week or two. Knowing what I know now, the more content you put out, then the faster you're going to grow. Because the more content you create, then the more it's going to be out there on the internet, the more people are going to be able to find your content. and the more likely you are to attract people to want to follow and subscribe to you. So focus on putting out content every day if you can. That's the ideal. If you can do more than that, 3 times a day, awesome. As long as you're consistent and frequent, because you know, with social media, with YouTube, and also with SEO, you get rewarded for consistency and frequency. So the more consistent that you are, YouTube, Facebook, all these different channels, they love that. So focus on that. All right, we're disconnected on Facebook Live. And I think we'll wrap up because I think there's, I'm gonna end the live video there. Let's see if there's any further questions. Dino has another question. Maybe answer a few more. What's your best tip for growing a YouTube show? Thank you so much, you're amazing. Best tip is exactly what I said. Focus on adding value, focus on creating high quality content, and you'll, you know, all the little things you'll learn along the way of optimizing for annotations and things like that, keyword optimization, those things are more secondary, but really 80% of your focus, content, content, content. Content is king. Make sure it's really, really good content that people want. And one little tip to help you get started with that is that make sure that your videos are optimized for keywords people are searching for. So YouTube is a search engine. They're the biggest video search engine in the world. They have over 1 billion users on it. And if you can identify what people are searching for, the keywords, and create content related to that, that solves people's needs or solves people's problems, then that's one of the best pieces of advice that I can give. Here's a question from Newbie to Ninja. How do you decide a project is scaled enough or running smoothly enough before moving on to a new project? Well, for me, it's when it doesn't require hardly any of my time. And really, that's the most important thing, because in order to start a new project, you're going to need more time, and you're also going to need focus for that. And, you know, an example would be my Kindle publishing business. I started my Kindle publishing business and I grew it up. I was making thousands of dollars a month from that. And for me, I just knew that Kindle publishing was, I enjoyed it, but I had bigger gifts and things that I was more passionate about, such as Project Life Mastery. And the Kindle publishing was great, but it ended up holding me back a little bit from being able to grow Project Life Mastery and teaching and inspiring people and doing some of the things that I loved. And so what I focused on was automating that business. And a great resource for that is a book called Work the System by Sam Carpenter. And I basically identified that in this publishing business, there's only so many procedures. There's only so many things you got to do. And I can outsource and have somebody that can do all this stuff for me. So I just focus on training someone to do this, that, this, and all the different elements that are involved in that. And made sure that I had a solid team in place and a manager that could operate the whole thing, that I trusted, that I built up a relationship with as well. And that slowly allowed me to free up my time and focus and spend less time and focus on that. And I believe that you can never fully outsource anything completely. You still have to keep your eyes on it. You still have to manage it, or just make sure that you keep an eye out on that business. It got to a point where, you know, I felt that, okay, I can spend just, you know, maybe an hour or two a week, just check in, make sure everything's running smoothly, we're maintaining at the minimum or growing, and then that allowed me to move on to the next project. So I guess, you know, once something gets to the point where it just doesn't require much of your time or energy or focus, that's when it allowed me to focus on the next thing or the next project that I have going on. Ruth has a question. Did you start off with a team? The answer is no. I started off just as a one-man show, doing everything that I could. Oftentimes, that's how most people have to start their business. It's just them. You're doing everything. You're learning everything. And then once you start making money from your business, you take some of that money, and you don't, you know, pay it all yourself, but you use some of that money to invest back into your business and hire a virtual assistant or hire someone that can help you automate things, or invest in softwares and resources like that that can help you scale up your business to free up more of your time to focus on what's really important. Here's a question from Alexander. Happy birthday. How do you create a creative work environment and stay productive when traveling? For me, I like renting on Airbnb, because I find that's the most, I can get like an actual apartment with good internet connection, and just a conducive environment for me to actually get work done. Oftentimes when traveling is tough when you're moving around a lot, and I've done a lot of traveling like that where, you know, every few days you got to pack your bags, you got to go to a new location, you have to, you know, scout out the area and find the restaurants and find the gym and find the stores and all that sort of stuff. And I find that's not conducive for really being productive. And so I'm not typically the most productive in those environments. For me, I need to have a good flow and momentum in order to really be productive. And so right now I was traveling Thailand and Indonesia, and I was just focused more on video blogs and a few projects with my team. But I wanted to really focus on my big goal this year, which was to create Affiliate Marketing Mastery, my new online training course. So to do that, I decided, okay, I'm going to settle down in Dominican Republic. I'm going to rent a place for a month. I'm going to focus, immerse myself in that environment, the gyms across the street, the stores across the street, and I'm just going to optimize my environment for optimal productivity. So for me, when traveling, it's tough when you're traveling around, but I think you got to settle in to really immerse yourself on big projects. And especially for me, I do a lot of filming and stuff. You know, when I'm traveling Thailand and Indonesia, it's really great. I'll just record videos on my iPhone or, you know, filming and stuff. I can do that for video blogs. But if I'm actually going to work on a big project like a course or something, then I need to make sure that I'm in the right environment for that. You know, I'm in one location and I've got a quiet environment, and every day I can just focus on that. So for me, that's what I personally do, what works for me in terms of being productive. And I think you get into a really good flow state and you get a really good momentum, which I think is very important. Here's a question from Angel Mendez. How you doing, Angel? It's good to see you here, man. He says, you rock. Here's my question. Can we get an invoice for donating to Change Heroes campaigns? Yes, you do. You will get an email receipt from Change Heroes once you make a donation. I'm glad that you brought that up. As many of you guys know, today's my birthday, my 30th birthday, which is pretty exciting. And I put out a YouTube video, and I've just been blown away today and the last few days, because one of my goals that I shared is that I'm going to build two houses in Nicaragua, and also 2 schools, one in Ethiopia and one elsewhere in the world. And I'm working with Change Heroes again this year to make that happen. You know, a lot of people ask, you know, what can I get you for your birthday or whatever? And I just tell people, if you want to give me a gift, if you want to support me, then the best way to do it is make a donation to these campaigns. I'm matching every donation as well. So whatever you give, I'm matching it. If you want to give $10, I'll give $10. You want to give, I had some people that gave $500, which is very generous of them. I'm matching that with $500 as well. So my goal is I want to make a big difference as possible. I want to give back. I want to change the lives of families. I want to provide an education for people and children that are suffering. They're not going to get an education unless we do something about it. Very passionate about this. Again, I give what I can, but I also want to use whatever influence that I have on YouTube or on social media and get other people involved as well. I want to, you know, I'm going to be going to Nicaragua in July to actually build 2 houses as well. I did that last year in El Salvador. It was one of the best experiences of my life. So any support with that would mean the world for me. And it's never about the amount that you give, it's just the act of giving. I found that giving is, you know, that's a core value that I have in my life, and something that's important to me, and it's transformed my life for the better. And I always talk about it. I always talk about adding value, getting outside of yourself. And I think that giving, especially as something of value to you, like money, is one of the best ways to get out of that scarcity mentality. So if you guys want to give or donate for my birthday, I'd appreciate it. I'll have links below this YouTube stream in the description, but you guys can just go to projectlifemastery.com/house, projectlifemastery.com/house. That's for my house campaign, or projectlifemastery.com/school. Okay, projectlifemastery.com/school. So head on over there. Again, any donation, any support, even sharing the campaigns with other people that might be able to give. Really amazing, guys. Every year I'm doing more and trying to find ways to give back more as well. So I want to thank you. I know a lot of you guys have already given. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys motivate and inspire me to keep doing what I'm doing. keep adding value. And my experience has been when you add value, you get back as well. So thank you. All right, I'll answer a few more questions before we wrap up. And again, I have a bunch of links below as well, and below this video on YouTube. So check out some of those links, different resources, things that I've mentioned. Make sure you guys are following me on Snapchat too, because I started 2 days ago. I've been snapping all throughout the day what I've been up to. My username is just Stefan James 1, Stefan James 1. Okay, next question. This is from S on Twitter. Everyone says for your success, surround yourself with successful people you aspire to be. What's the first step? I think there's a few steps. One, I think if you don't have access to people, which you might not, is surrounding yourself with people on a virtual online world, right? So the amazing world that we live in today is that there's YouTube, there's Facebook, there's blogs, there's tons of platforms online that make it available for anyone to follow people that are successful or that are millionaires or multimillionaires or billionaires. You can also read books. You can invest in your audio programs, video programs of people that are more successful that you aspire to be like. So I think you got to make sure that you just basically scout the internet and find people that have the results that you want, the life that you want, you respect and aspire to be. Invest in what they have. Be a follower, be a subscriber. I think that's one of the first steps because you'll learn a lot just by being around that. And I personally have benefited a lot from listening to people like Tony Robbins or Greg Plitt and some of these people online because I can listen to them when I'm at the gym, when I'm driving my car, and I didn't have other people that are more successful in my life at the time. So that's one of the best ways to learn and surround yourself. Excuse me. I think another thing is going to events. There's meetup.com, and where I live in Vancouver, there's a lot of different events going on. And I used to go to these free events to build a business for entrepreneur groups. And just by going to these events, you're going to surround yourself with people that are further ahead, that are more successful in different ways. So I think putting yourself in environments like that, business events, seminars, there's free seminars, there's free events, there's events you can go to for like 10 or 20 bucks every single week. Go out to those environments. You'll be surrounded by people that are further ahead, that are older than you, and more successful as well. And then I think the next step is, to get around specifically from certain people, I think you got to invest in their coaching. If they have any coaching programs or seminars, invest in that. Add value to them first in some way to get access to them. Or go to work for that person. I know some people, they go to work or volunteer to work for people that they respect and look up to. And as a result, they get access to that person, and just being around them, they end up learning a lot in the process as well. All right. So I think we'll end things for here, guys. I want to thank you for all the great questions that you guys have. If you guys have more, you guys can still tweet them to me. Use hashtag AskStefan. I'll be doing some other video blogs as well, and I often look to see what other questions you guys have asked so that I can get ideas for different topics to create videos on. Thanks, guys, immensely for joining me today on my birthday. It's always a pleasure doing these live streams and adding value wherever I can, answering questions. I support you guys. I want to thank you guys for your support and for all your love and everything that you guys have given me. And moving forward, I'm going to continue creating great quality content and engaging with you guys and doing what I can. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys on Periscope. People on Facebook, we lost you about 10 minutes ago. But that's it, guys. Make sure that, again, you're following me on Snapchat, on Instagram, on social media. Make sure that you're tweeting me some future questions. And I, again, appreciate all the donations and contributions as well. Thank you, guys. God bless. I'll see you guys again soon. Take care.